Hello, everyone. We are talking about grammar today. First of all, my students, they are fifth grade students, so they're 10, 11 years old, and they're studying at a private language school after their normal school day, so extracurricular English. They come twice a week, 90 minutes each day. And so the first thing, it's an EFL class. So for me, I think that grammar is really important in the EFL setting simply because these students are not exposed to English outside of the classroom, um, except maybe through music they listen to or films that they see. But in general, compared to an ESOL student who's sort of immersed in the language, it's really different for them. So the first thing, how do I prepare? Well, it's easy for me because I follow a course book. So um, I don't get to choose what grammar points I teach. They are set out for me. Usually there are two grammar points in each unit, and I have to teach those um, because they will be on the final exam that the students take at the end of each semester. Um, so there's no how do I choose answer here. It's chosen for me. What do I focus on? Well, the basics, I suppose. I think first it's important um, to create a context for the grammar, a context that your specific students can understand and relate to. So if you're teaching present simple, um, maybe come into the class and put some sentences on the board, and that have something to do with daily routines. You know, waking up, going to school, eating breakfast, having lunch, these kind of things. Sort of draw their attention to what's happening in the sentence. You know, what are the sentences describing? Sort of elicit that information from the students first. Get their brains working. Get them thinking not necessarily about the structure of the sentence, but about what's happening because they need to know why and when to use this specific type of grammar. After, I usually tell them, okay, I diagram the sentence and I say, well, this is what grammar do you think this sentence describes? Sometimes they know it, sometimes they don't. With younger students, they may have had more experience than others with these things. So it's important to ask them first instead of just telling them. So after that, I usually diagram the sentence. So I ask, okay, where's the subject? Where's the verb? What kind of verb is it? Um, where's the object? These kind of things. And so I've diagrammed the different types of sentences, usually I'll have the kids um, just orally give me an example on their own. So they just have to follow the structure of the sentence and change the verb, change the object, maybe the subject, change the subject, and they follow like this. After they'll do some exercises uh, eh, you say hi in their course book, uh, and then when you go over the answers in open class, really make sure that they've understood and everyone is on the same page. So this is the basic idea of what happens. And then usually that evening, for homework, the students will do something in their workbook, some grammar revision, or I'll set a writing for homework, because students at our school, they have to do one composition per week. So I'll set a writing where they have to use the specific grammar. So I'll tell them, okay, we're learning present simple. Write about your daily routine. Tell me what you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. So again, this is forcing the students to use the grammar and probably the vocabulary from the unit, um, in a meaningful way, in a way that makes sense for them, that they can relate to. I know that in the readings, Reynolds talked about It can be difficult when you're dealing with students and they have these syntactical problems, and how much do you want to correct, and how much do you let go. Now he always says look at the big picture. But I think for EFL students, and especially for Spanish speaking students, English is not that much different from the basic structure uh, of Spanish. So you don't have these usually you don't have these wild syntactical issues that you have to deal with, but students do get confused, especially at the early levels. So I mean, I always correct the homework as thoroughly as possible, um, and we just do a lot of repetition, a lot of revision. Every class we go on the next day, I make sure to review what we've done before, uh, and the grammar, and call attention to certain mistakes that I've seen, and I always give them these PowerPoints where I put maybe 6 sentences in a slide, and 3 of them are correct, 3 of them are incorrect, and I put them in teams and have them sort of figure out which ones are correct and which ones are incorrect. Why are they incorrect? Correct the sentence for me. So this is a fun way to get them really looking at grammar in a different way. So I think we can always improve how we teach grammar, make it more meaningful for students, make it more fun, use videos, use movies to bring their attention to certain grammar points, sort of like we talked about in the technology unit. Um, but for me, it's something that's really important, and something that in the EFL classroom you really have to focus on, because students don't get the grammar attention, the grammar immersion outside of the classroom. So it's something that we as teachers have to really make sure students master before they can go on to the next course. Something that Khan said in the TED Talk last week, no? That you can build on something that has a weak foundation, because you're going to send students to the sort of the next course without having the necessary skills to succeed. So again, yeah, make grammar accessible to the students, make it relatable, make expose them to as much as possible, so that they can understand when and why to use it. That it just doesn't come from the teacher. Um, Sort of this test, teach, test kind of idea, and just always revise the next day, and in 2 weeks later, um, bring their attention back to what you taught them before, and make sure that it's really sticking with them, and it's not something that 1 week they know it, the next week they don't. Um, so those are my ideas, and well, I hope to hear from you guys what you think.